Turn me up just a little bit, bro. Good morning, everybody. You guys came here to learn stuff today, right? If you did, make some noise. If you are a sponsor, we need you up here on the right side of the stage. In just a second, we're going to let the sponsors talk. For everybody else, welcome. How many of you guys have been here before? Make some noise. This is like our 80-somethingth session of Masterclass. What is it? 76. I think we ended the year at 70 or 71, 76, 77, something like that. So we're almost at number 80. Thank you guys for coming and for continuing to come. Real quick, if you're facing the other direction and talking, I'm going to start calling you out in a second because we kind of started already. Just throwing it out there. Welcome. So everybody, can we give it up for all the sponsors that made today happen? Looks like a lot of them might not really be set up, but a bunch of them are about to talk for a minute, share what they do. So if you don't know who we are or what we do, Orlando Real Producers, we are on the 101st edition of Orlando Real Producers. So we started this thing almost 9 years ago. And the whole idea is to bring together and to recognize the best of the best in Central Florida real estate. There's about 24,000 agents here, and all of them tell you they're number one. But we actually rank the top 500 agents, and we host events for the top 500 agents. And so almost 9 years ago, we started throwing these private parties for the top 500 agents, and they'd get all this buzz on social, and people be like, hey, Aaron, how come I didn't get an invite? Or how do I come to the next one? And we'd be like, just sell more. Or they'd be like, hey, I don't think you got my name. And I'm like, no, I don't think you made our list. And it was always kind of an awkward conversation because it's not like Aaron's favorite 500. It's not my list. We're just aggregating data. So what I learned that we could control was bringing together the best in all the agents, but everyone to learn from the best of the best, right? Like, instead of saying just sell more and you'll make the list next year, we decided to put people that are on the list every year on a stage to talk about how they're selling so much or what they're doing that's working so that you can actually learn from it and implement it and always sell a lot of real estate. Does that make sense to you guys? So we realized that there weren't a lot of people doing this back then, at least, and there weren't a lot of places you could go where they weren't trying to sell you something or pitch you something or sell you coaching or get you to do something or join their brokerage or whatever. So we just realized that we could fill a void for objective, high-level education, and it's not really like education, it's really like authenticity. So you're going to hear from all different people, and they're going to have all different perspectives. They might agree and repeat the same thing, and you might take note, or they might say the exact opposite thing, and you've got to pick what matches you. Does that make sense? But there's a whole bunch of sponsors that make this happen. We have about 90 advertising partners that make Real Producers happen, and they're all throughout the room. So if you meet anybody in this room, even the ones that aren't sponsoring today, then they don't sell real estate, but they're a lender or they do title or they do home inspections or photography or whatever. They're one of the best of the best. They didn't come here by accident. Like, we don't just let people walk in that are vendors, and so our people are all vetted. They're all from the top 500's recommendations. They support this thing long term, and they're all people you should want to meet. So could we give a round of applause real quick for all the preferred partners of Real Producers? I got a bunch of them that are about to come. Why don't you guys just come on up here if you're speaking, if you're sponsoring, and I'll kind of just run down the line. And let's see, we should probably give you, oh, you got a couple more mics already? Here, flick that. Ready? And I'll let you guys go.
You ready for us to start it? Well, good morning. I'm Scott Fosgate. I'm with Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. I've been a big sponsor or part of this since Aaron started it, honestly. So it's a pleasure to be with you all this morning. I've got two things for you. Number one is the debate between broker and lender, right? We hear it all the time, which is better, right? Well, a lot of us companies, independent mortgage bankers, which is what we are at Atlantic Bay. There's others in the room that are as well. We have the option, honestly. Most of our regular loans, conventional FHA, VA, USDA, we are the lender. We underwrite them ourselves. We fund them. But we also have the ability to broker out when we need to. So keep that in mind. It's not always one box. Most of us have solutions for any type of scenario that comes about. And those of us that I think have been around a long time, if we don't have the solution, we know that there's enough business to go around, and we're going to put you in the right position with someone that does do that deal, right? Because at the end of the day, you guys win when we close, right? Whether it's me doing it, or Stacy doing it, or Barb doing it, anybody in this room. So my second thing, real quick, I've got a little takeaway. If you have interest, The AI buzz that's going around, I'm learning more. I turned 49 this year, so, me getting into this social thing and figuring all this out, right? Gray hair and all. But I've got a little nugget for you. It's about listings and writing a listing
Scott, we got to wrap
description.
this
So
in
give me a
60
call,
seconds each, y'all.
Or come up and see me if you have interest in that. It was a long one.
Yeah, you got the cut right there.
Yeah, guys, we got a lot of
Scott.
people speaking today, so if you
All right,
guys could
cool.
stick to
I'm
just a quick
Jocelyn.
intro.
I got
And then make
this.
sure you meet these people after, because they all have way more stuff to tell you than I'm giving them time. And let's give it up for all of them one more time, because they got to do this rushed. I recognize it's not fair. Make sure you visit and talk with these people.
All right, I'm Jocelyn. I'm with Home First Lending, also on the lending side here for mortgages, and we love working with you guys, so thank you for all of your support. 2 little nuggets for you guys today. First, I'll just run over Hometown Heroes because I'm sure everybody's talking about it. It did get $50 million, which is half of what it was originally getting. They did announce yesterday as well that we are going back to occupational driven, okay? So this is not just for anybody working in Florida. There is no start date yet. Reach out to your lender and they can provide you the next update. Or call me, and I would love that. I want to work with you. Second piece of value is just going to be today. We are actually approaching halfway through the year. When we started 2025, you guys had a goal of how many homes you wanted to close, right? I think you need to get with your lender, see where there's value coming in right now, and how you can make sure that you hit those goals by the end of the year. I would love to set up that business plan with you and let
All right,
you know
let's
where
give her
there's
a round of
buyers.
applause. Home First Lending.
Good morning. Vic DeVore here with DeVore Design. Photos, listing media, home staging, website design, social media management. We have a studio so you can do headshots. And coffee on the way. We got abandoned by DoorDash, so they're delivering it here right now. There's a QR code over there. Scan it for a discount off of our services. And we got to take a selfie together, guys. This is how I like to do my social media, and I want you guys in it. So let's hear a round of applause for everybody here today. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Kurt. Good morning, everyone. Kurt Kramer with Sorensen Moving and Storage. We are a great big Mayflower agent located in Orlando. I handle everything on the residential side of the business, so I will get your customers to wherever they need to go.
Love it.
No, I have to follow that. That was quick. I'm Shay Walker. If I'm a new face to you, I'm a brand photographer, which means I make you feel good, look good, and make connections on social media and your website and anywhere you can make a good first impression with your photo. It doesn't feel like a photo shoot. I teach you how to pose, how to connect with people, how to make your message convey and not look stuffy and uncomfortable. I love my people. I also own a brand studio, which I do a lot of my sessions in as well, so you can create a ton of stuff in there. How to get to know me and what I do, go to my social media, at Shay Walker Photo and the Vibe Creative Studio, and see who I work with, what I do, and reach out to me there. I'm obsessed with what I do. So have fun. The panel today is the real deal, so you're going to learn some great stuff from them. So.
Yay.
That goes on that.
Stamp of approval here. What's going on, guys? I'm Mohsin with Florida Home Photo. You know what we do, it's right in the name, but because we're talking about social media today, we dropped an Instagram video yesterday giving away a 30-day content strategy. So it's got 30 hooks, 30 prompts, 30 call to actions to help you with your social media if you feel lost or confused or don't know what to post that day. If you just go to the video, we posted it yesterday, comment game plan, it's yours, totally free, no email needed. Okay, enjoy the class.
Hey, we're getting quicker. My name's Heather Hurry, so you know what's up, right? Anyway, hey guys, Pillar to Post, the Jeff Mackey team, home, residential and commercial inspections. Really quick, today we're too blessed to be what? Stressed. Yes, right. That's the line. So a couple of quick things. New technology homepage. Everything is on a realtor dashboard now. What? So it's so amazing. You can go in at any point, download, upload reports, and get them at 24/7 at any time. So if you want more information, let me know. But in the meantime, have a wonderful masterclass, and let's kick it off, Aaron. Let's go.
Love it. And also, we're going to give a 1, 2, 3 clap to anyone who is not here, and that's Assured Partners. That's Assured Partners, Blue Haven Pools, Apex Title, and then we got some supporting sponsors, Orlando Estate Sale Ladies. I'm sure Marlise may be somewhere in here. Harding Bell International, Steve's probably traveling the world, and Hatfella Productions, Marlon and Tori are probably shooting photos. Let's give them a 1, 2, 3 clap on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, give it up for all the sponsors today. Make sure you visit them, follow them. All right, you guys ready to start this thing? All right, let's go. First, I think we should start with Diana Desboyo. So she's a luxury real estate expert with over 14 years of experience. She set price records in Windermere and Maitland, including a $15.3 million sale. Known for bringing both buyer and sellers to the table in high-end deals, she's also the visionary behind not just stunning properties, but other really cool brands that she's going to talk about in a minute, like her chocolate. She's fluent in English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese, serves a global clientele, and consistently makes our M Club, which means she's not only in the top 5% or in the top 500, which is the top 2.5% of agents, but she also has a seven-figure transaction on average. I believe it's over $2 million average transaction. Let's give it up for Diana. And then Kristen Pavlik is a senior agent partner with the Ken Posick Group. You can jump in any of those seats on the left side. With the Ken Posick Group, who's proud to be born and raised in Central Florida. She ranks in the top 1% of agents in all of Greater Orlando. She's lived in Orlando area her whole life, so she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to local hotspots, neighborhood knowledge, and things to do in Central Florida. And you can see it on their YouTube channel. She's been in the 35 under 35. She's been named a Rising Star of the Year in 2022, and she sells a ton of real estate. Let's give it up for Kristen Pavlik. And today's segment's we're gonna kind of play it by ear because we have 3 different segments and we're gonna switch them in and out. So it's gonna be based off of whether you guys look like you're having a good time or whether you look like you want me to change it. So y'all give one more round of applause to these people if you're ready to learn from them. All right, and both of your mics should just have a switch and light up in green when it's ready. So let's start with you, Diana, and I'll ask you both this. Talk a little bit about your mindset behind your social media strategy. So let's talk about the big picture strategy of what you're trying to do, the positioning you're trying to have, those types of things, and then we'll kind of break down more of the tactics and the tools that you use to do it. But let's talk about your strategy, big picture.
Got it, okay.
And how it relates to your business, I should also say.
Hi, everybody. So my strategy on social media is that I don't need to talk to everybody. I don't need to reach everybody. I need to reach specific people and specific target audience that my content should speak to. So everything that I do is very intentional on my social media. Everything that I post is with the intention of marketing myself and showing myself in the best possible light to these people who are watching me. And who's watching me? I know that people that are on my social media are my past clients, current clients, and future clients. So my goal is not to go viral or to get likes or comments from everyone, is to make sure that the people that I want to see me are seeing me.
All right, sorry, I'm trying to make sure this air doesn't keep blowing so hard on you guys. All right, Kristen, talk about your mindset and strategy behind your social.
So I'm a part of the Ken Posick Group, and we have a brand called the Orlando Real. And our tagline now, it used to be a joke, but now our tagline is we're actually more a media company that happens to sell real estate. So we're just trying to build community and share what's going on in Central Florida, whether that's theme park news, new roads coming in, infrastructure, new developments, things like that, that really get people bought into our brand and following us organically. And then from there, we bring the value of actually being real estate agents.
Talk about how that comes into what you post. How does that, now that they kind of get big picture, talk a little bit about how you choose your strategy.
Yeah, so it's really about knowing your audience, right? So as an individual agent on the team, I'm focusing on areas that I am an expert in or areas that I want to farm. And so then it becomes more hyper-local content that is, hey, this is a neighborhood in downtown Orlando called Soto, and here's some really great local hotspots that you may not know about, and what's it like to live here, and here's what the homes look like in this area. And that becomes super shareable content. So it's really just being intentional about who is your audience and how are you creating content for them that you also enjoy and you are very familiar with and an expert on.
Right, Diana, how about your content? How do you decide what you're going to do and how you're going to shoot and who you're going to target?
everything that I do is based on luxury. Anything that I'm going to sell, it's based on a lifestyle. So if I'm going to post any sort of content, it's going to be related to a luxury lifestyle that I can connect with that client. I want the luxury client to know that I'm at their level and that I can be a resource for them. So my relationship starts as a resource. So they contact me because they want to know if I know someone at the Ferrari dealership that can help them buy their car. If I have someone that is a private jet broker, they contact me primarily because they know that I'm a resource for them in all aspects of luxury.
So if I'm hearing you right, you've decided to position yourself as a luxury expert, and you also show off that lifestyle and know that that's the clientele you're actually targeting, and you're not interested in the other people's engagement and attention, essentially.
Absolutely.
If they're not in your target.
Correct.
And Kristen, you guys stick to like community and news and things about Orlando, but essentially have the same thing, which is you're targeting people that care about what's going on in Orlando, that are interested in what there is to do, that are interested in moving to Orlando.
Yeah,
Those
absolutely.
types of things.
Well, we're trying to answer questions that people might be Googling, right? So if somebody Googles top 5 neighborhoods to live in Orlando, we want to be the video that pops up, right? And so there's a lot of back-end stuff. My team is a genius. We've got now I'm very spoiled. We have social media managers and content creators and things like that who are doing all this back-end tracking and finding out, like, what are people actually searching for, and how do we answer that question with a 90-second video on our Instagram pages or a long-form content if it requires a little bit more information. So it's trying to be that real estate resource of choice. So when people are Googling things, we pop up.
Talk about the long form and short form content a little bit, because you and I had a long conversation. Can you share with them kind of the differences, how you pick them, how you repurpose them, those types of things?
Yeah, so short form obviously has to hold our attention span, which is like mine personally is like tiny. So if you're not capturing them within that first like 1 to 2 seconds, you're going to lose them, right? Whereas long form is more elongated answers on topics that people might be researching, right? You're learning about something, and so it's almost like YouTube is school, and then the short form version is more so just quick information. How quickly can you get information to somebody that's engaging, that they're interested in seeing? So we try to be very efficient, and so when we're filming long form, we're thinking about how can we cut this up into short form clips so that we can have this same material posted across all of our content platforms to be efficient, because it's a lot of work to do content, right? It's not super easy, and so we're trying to be as efficient as possible. So if a long form video is highlighting a specific community and we've got some interviews with some local businesses, then we're taking a second during that long form shoot day to do an intro and an outro for a short form content video. For example, we did Soto, like I mentioned, and Kelly's Ice Cream, if you're familiar with Kelly's Ice Cream. She's amazing. She has a shop in Soto, and we were featuring her as part of the community tour, but then we actually took a short form video of just interviewing Kelly and asking her what her favorite ice cream was and things like that, and that did really well as a short form video because people know her in the community. So just trying to be efficient is really the name of the game, and make it so that we can use this content across all of our platforms, and it's shareable. That's really important.
Now, are you looking to get followers? Are you looking to entertain? Are you looking to educate? Are you looking for leads? Like, what's the mindset behind the content?
Well, we're always looking for leads, right? I hope that's the real goal, right? But for us, it's a long game. We're not, obviously, we would love to get an immediate lead right away, but at the end of the day, you want to be considered valuable and as a resource, and I'm sure you feel the same way. If you know what you're talking about, then the people who want to know that as well are going to be reaching out to you. So if you consistently show up as the expert of something, like I said, we're a media company, so we're showing up as experts of Central Florida. We know what's going on. We can tell you all about it. Then people are going to reach out to us when they're ready to transact or make a move.
Diana, how do you plan out the content?
100%, yeah, that's 100%. I use my social media as an opportunity to market every day to everyone. That is the audience that I am looking for. So when it comes time to get a lead, the lead doesn't call me anymore to say, hey, can I have a listing appointment? I get the lead and they say, when can you come to my house and put it on the market? I haven't had a listing appointment in over 2 years, I think, because anytime that they call me. Because
they're nurtured already.
They call me and they say, I want you to sell my house. So I show up with the listing agreement, with my gift listing bag, and get it listed.
Since you already pointed out, I was waiting a little bit, but let's talk about not just your listing bag. Let's talk about your chocolate company. If you could just kind of describe it, and then describe how this all ties together, because I've seen how beautiful, like she makes chocolate that looks like a work of art. Every piece looks like it came from an art gallery, and like you don't think you're supposed to eat it kind of stuff. And talk about a little bit about this and how it started and how it helps.
So I started it actually in October. I wanted to have another reason to connect with my clients that wasn't related to real estate. I wanted to have a reason to reach out to them and say, I would like to stop by because I have this new product that I would like for you to try, and it's a beautiful box of chocolates. And so it started as an idea to just connect with my clients, but it got bigger than that, and now it's a full-on brand. It's called Maison de Rêve. It means House of Dreams, and my shop is opening in downtown Windermere. All of a sudden, overnight, I became a chocolatier. But I love it because I cross post on my social media. I talk about my chocolate, so they see that I have something else going on, another business, and I also cross promote my other businesses, which is we have a water sports academy in Windermere, and boat cleaning and dock cleaning and anything related to boating. So I cross promote all of these businesses that are related to real estate in general, because my clients, they're buying lakefront homes. Here I am, I can make your dock, I can sell you a boat, and we can maintain your boat.
She's full service.
I'm literally full service, yeah. So that's, yeah, so I show up to the listing day with my bag, and I have a couple of branded highball glasses. I put magazines that I have the cover of, which now is the Real Producers magazine, a couple of boxes of chocolates.
Some other magazine too.
And a nice candle or a diffuser, something that they're going to use at their home and remember me by. Yeah.
Love it. So that's why you guys should get on the cover. And if you're on the cover, you should buy a lot of copies of it from me for your next gift bag. No, I'm kidding, but only kind of. Let's talk about, so basically, if I'm hearing you right, you're finding other ways to continue to spread in a luxury space and appeal to your ideal client, and they see that you're living the same lifestyle, doing businesses that target the same people, and you're giving gifts that kind of remind them of your quality.
Exactly, yeah. And everything that I do, so let's say, for the chocolates, I hosted a beautiful event launching the chocolate brand. I invited all of my clients. So now this is not a real estate related event. This is something else entirely, but I'm inviting them, and they're now a part of my universe. And because of that relationship they have, that they chose me to buy or sell their house, now they have access to this universe and to connecting and meeting other people. So now I become a resource also for networking for my own clients.
Understood. I wish I could pull up your 7-foot chocolate video. That would have been a good thing to put on the screen. I probably should have pulled everyone's content. But let's talk about how these convert for both of you. Like, let's talk about, because you're both selling a lot of real estate, not just making great videos and targeting your people. Talk about how this turns into business and what you've learned. Actually, I do want to ask you one other question first, Diana. Talk about what you're not doing on social media, and then I'll ask you guys about content conversion.
What I'm not
doing. Like you and I talked about, because you're targeting certain people. And Kristen, I could ask you the same thing. What are some of the things you make sure that you do, and what are some of the things you make sure you don't do to stay in alignment with how you want to be branded or positioned?
Yeah. So for me, it's always about the client. So I don't want to embarrass my client by doing something in their property or to their property or in a video that doesn't show it in the best light. So I know that there are trendy things to do, and people do those in their social media videos, but that's not for me. I like to focus on the property, show it in the best possible light. If I am in the social media video, it's very briefly here and there, just accentuating a couple of key points of the house or branding my own things, which is picking up a piece of chocolate in the kitchen. So I use it in a way that it will help my advertisement, but also in a way that it won't open any room for criticism. I want to just always portray any property that I'm marketing in the best possible light, and that means that I will not follow certain trends or do dances or do what everybody else is doing.
You said something to me on our call about how you're not trying to be funny.
I'm
want them to know that you're good.
I'm not there to entertain. I don't want to have hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm very happy at the level that I am with 30-something thousand followers. I get engagement. 500,000 people engage in my account monthly. I'm very happy with that. And any type of interaction that I have actually leads to something real. It's not just wasting my time with people, pretending that they want to see something and really it's going to turn into nothing.
Understood. Kristen, let's talk about what you do, make sure you do, and what you make sure you don't do to stay in alignment with the brand?
Yeah, so, what would Ken Posick do is kind of my mantra, right? Or what would he not do? But at the end of the day, you are you, and people are going to hire you for you. Not everybody is for you, and so it's impossible to brand yourself perfectly for every type of client, right? So I like to follow the 80-20 rule, where 80% is personal, what I post and what I'm sharing about my own personal life, living in my community, loving where I live, going to theme parks, experiencing farmers markets, just like showcasing what it looks like to actually live here in Central Florida. And then the 20% is, but here's this awesome listing that I have, right? So you sprinkle in the real estate so that it's like a soft nurture. I guess, the internet is forever. That's kind of my mantra. So just, some of these trends, I agree, are a little outside of the brand, and some work for your personality, depends on who you are. I'm a little bit more quirky, fun, so sometimes I'll be a little silly. I've never done one of those dances personally, but maybe, watch out. So I think it's more so just being who you are, being authentic, and for us, we are also a media company, so it's making sure that we're staying just very informative. We're not taking opinions or sides on things. It's just, here's what's happening. What do you think about it? And starting conversations in our comment section. You
had talked to me about what you do to make sure that when you show listings and real estate stuff that it's tied in properly. Can you talk a little bit about I guess a better question is, what mistakes do you see people making when it comes to their content, or if you want to specifically talk about how they highlight homes and how they should.
So our team's brilliant. So I'm not taking credit for this, obviously, but how many times do you see just listed? Raise your hand if you've seen just listed, right? Every single person. How many people do you think are just going to scroll past that and just keep going, right? And so our team actually came up with a different strategy where it looks like a newsletter, right? So mid-century home steps away from Lake Eola. Well, it's actually a just listed post, but it's so much more interesting, and it's actually working really, really well on our platform as a stagnant post that we're able to share. So all of our listings now are little news clips, essentially, right? So it's something interesting about the house. It's telling a story rather than just listed, which is just so overdone and so common, people just scroll past it. So it creates something that's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting, and we're finding that it works really, really well.
Love it. Diana, any mistakes that you see people doing or things that you've learned work really well? Either or.
I have a great story to share, actually.
Let's hear it.
So Friday, I received a phone call from someone that had attended one of my open houses in Winter Park. And my open houses, they're very, very strategic with partners and the way that I handle them. He calls me on Friday and says, "Hey, Diana, can you come over tomorrow? I want you to list my house." I said, okay. So I come over to his house. My sister and I, we work together, my sister and I, and my mom. We go to his house, and it's a $4 million house here in Maitland. And he says, okay, how soon can you get the pictures done? I want you to list it immediately. I said, okay, great. I can do everything right away. And he says, but I want to make sure you're going to throw me that Ferrari party. I was like, what Ferrari party? He's like, the one that I went to, the one that you hosted at that other listing. And I was like, oh, my broker open. Of course, I'll do a broker open for you. But in his mind, because I have a partnership with Ferrari, so they bring the cars and I'll do a whole thing, he thought it was a Ferrari party. And he hired me, I think, just because he wants me to host that at his house. So now it's actually live. We went live yesterday. Mohsin did the pictures and videos. It's stunning. And I'm having a broker open there on the 29th. So if you guys want to come, you're welcome to.
There you go. Give everyone the info. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, you just go. The website is youinmaitland.com. I do a landing page for absolutely every single one of my listings. So youinmaitland.com. You have all the pictures, videos, and you can RSVP for the broker open.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. Let's talk a little bit about conversion. How does this stuff actually lead to business? Tell me a little bit about what you do to make sure that it leads to business, or what you've learned over the years of creating good content that helps you capture more business.
What do you mean?
From the people engaging with you on social media. You've kind of told me about how they call you and they want to list with you and whatnot. Exactly. But what about, share anything that has to do with conversion. You could, if you want to start, Christian, you can too, if it makes it easier. But
sure. So I think that there's this idea that people think social media is like a pillar of your real estate business, especially like newer agents who start as real estate agents. They think, oh, I'll post on social media and then I'm going to be famous and a really awesome real estate agent. It takes years to build a presence on social media. And I actually I coach some agents on my team about this. It's not a pillar. Social media doesn't really become a pillar until you've built 7+ years of this brand that you've been working super hard on, and now it's starting to actually create leads and generate things, and it's consistent. But before that, it takes a long time to create these relationships and show up consistently and be considered valuable. And so it's very much the same as calling, right? So you call a lead, you have to break the ice, you have to learn about them, you have to, show value to them before they trust you enough to transact with you. Well, it's the same on social media. You have to show up consistently, show that value, and then at one point it does get over that hill, and then all of a sudden people are calling you and saying, or DMing you, hey, list my house, and it's amazing, but like that's 7 years later, right, for most of us, right? So it's very much like you cannot be one of those posters who just post and ghost. You have to engage. If people are spending time liking, sharing, commenting, sending you messages, you need to be going back and doing the same thing. It's still a relationship, right? It's not I'm on a platform, I'm here, I'm just going to share content, you reach out when you're ready. You can try that strategy. It didn't work for me, doesn't work for most people, but it is very much, if they send you a message, you're responding right away, you're answering questions, and following them back as well. So it's almost like your sphere at that point, right? You're seeing them have babies and get married and do these things, and you're excited for them. So it's building that relationship through the screen as well. And we found that to be the best way to actually convert leads into business.
So if I'm hearing you right, you're also showing an interest in them while being responsive and not just posting stuff.
Correct. Yes, absolutely.
Understood. Diana, do you want to talk about converting and
she's absolutely right.
nurturing?
Yeah, I think that creating the relationship, nurturing the relationship online, and relationships that you have offline as well, they are still going to see everything that you're doing. People that are not necessarily immediate buyers or sellers, they are still following everything that I'm doing. And because I am consistently in front of them, I'm on top of their mind. The moment that they think, oh shit, I need to sell, they call me because they know that I'm there, I'm consistent, and I'm not posting about anything else, or about my trips, about my dinners, because I don't mix my social medias. I have one social media that is for my business and one that is private for my friends and family. I don't post anything that is personal, that it's about my circle of friends or where I'm going, what I'm doing. I only post about my business, my sales.
The lifestyle, though, too.
The lifestyle. Occasionally, if it's my son's or my daughter's birthday, I will post, happy birthday to my daughter or to my son. It humanizes me a little bit, I guess. But that's what I'm doing.
Just to make sure I'm hearing you right so that everyone gets this, you're separating your business and your personal, but your business page isn't just trying to sell real estate. It's all about the lifestyle, the people, all that. It's just not showing your kid's face or something like that. It's separated, but it really is personal lifestyle. Business, like the business encompasses all these other things you're doing as well.
Exactly, yes.
Understood.
There is something else that I do that it works really well for me. I built a search engine called housefinder.com, which works just like Zillow. And my clients love it because it's a resource for them, and I tell them, hey, instead of going on Zillow or Realtor.com, just use mine. It's housefinder.com. No one's going to bother you. You can browse all day. There is going to be no one cold calling you. There is going to be no one trying to set up a listing appointment because it's mine and nobody else is going to see it. But behind the scenes, I can see everything that my client is doing. I can see every house that they click, how many minutes they spend looking at a specific house. So then when I text them randomly saying, hey, I just saw this house, maybe you like it, they think that I'm reading their mind because that's the house that they've been looking at for a couple of days, but they don't know that I can see everything that they're doing. So it's a wonderful way for me to know what is in my client's mind without being on top of them and having to ask them questions all the time.
Understood. And you guys could probably replicate that by heat maps on your websites or tracking in your emails or things like that, which what I'm hearing as a whole, aside from your specific and search engine, maybe you could talk about this, Kristen, too, is that you're using systems to know who's engaging with your stuff. You know, whether it's
Absolutely.
like we used to do this with BombBomb, and when I was selling closing gifts, I could tell the second that Zoga clicked my price list. I'd get a notification on my phone. So I might call him, and he's like, no way, I'm looking at your pricing right now. And I'm like, no way, that's crazy. That's amazing, Freddie, I didn't realize. And, you know, our conversion went up like, I don't know, 80 or 90% on those phone calls. So tell me a little bit about some of the stuff that you've learned that you're doing.
Yeah, that's our
Maybe-
brand, the Orlando Reel, and so it's also a home search engine. So all of the listings are featured on there as well. Opportunity for buyers and sellers to take a look. They can click to get a home evaluation. But what's also really cool about our website is that it's linked to our brand and our newsletter, which is all of those articles that are going out about the infrastructure. You know, brand new Epic Universe theme park just opened. Check out our behind the scenes when we went on Media Day, and you know, new development coming here, and Tavistock's doing this in St. Cloud, and then we're able to like see who's clicking on what. Every single one of our leads, it's like you can literally cyber stalk them. It's so fun because then you call them and you're like, hey, I saw you were taking a look at this, and they're like, how did you know that? And you're like, I just care about you, right? I just love you, so I'm keeping an eye on you. So it's so much easier to have value than just, hey, checking in, hey, following up, which is just like the worst call that you can make or the worst email that you can have. So much better to say, hey, I saw you clicked on this article that we featured in Lake Nona. Are you considering making a move there? That's so much more valuable than, following up, right?
Love it. Is there anything that, if you guys could share one other thing that I didn't ask you about, but I should have, what would you share? I know it's a general
She's like,
question.
"You
I'm
go
throwing you
first."
guys a curveball, but
I think that, we can get up here and it's so easy to talk about what we do because we've been doing this forever. And it can feel a little intimidating for a lot of people who don't necessarily have that big brand behind them. Again, I said I'm spoiled because I have my team behind me now. I didn't always. And so the advice that I would give, because I get asked this a lot, is like, where do you start? Like, how do you start this? And it's just post, right? You don't have to be perfect. It's just about being consistent and showing up and trying new things. You're going to mess up a million times. A year's going to go by. You're going to look back on that video you made a year ago and you're going to be like, oh my God, that's so bad. Why did I do that? But that's part of the journey, and you're never going to get there if you don't just do it. And so just be consistent. Think about who your target audience is, and then just show up. Just continuously show up, because the algorithm, it will treat you well if you do that. If you post once a week and then you ghost and you're never online, when you come back, even if your content's amazing, it's not likely going to get pushed out because you weren't consistent. So being consistent is always better than being amazing.
love it. Diana?
I would say don't try to sell to everyone. Choose your audience. Be specific. Be intentional. If you try to sell to everyone, you're going to sell to no one. So the moment that I started focusing on only luxury, I sell everything, by the way. If I get a client tomorrow that wants to buy a condo, I will sell the condo, $200,000, $300,000,
Will it go on your social media?
Whatever. That will not go on my social media. Absolutely not. Nothing under 2 million goes on my social media. But that's my strategy. That's my niche.
And that's why she has a $2 million average transaction.
There you go. It's about to go to 3.5 next week. You'll see.
All right. Anything else either of you wants to make sure you say before we switch up? How many of you guys learned something right now? Make some noise. Who wants to share one of their big takeaways? Let me get like one or two from the group, and then I'm going to bring up the next two. Somebody share. Yeah, over here.
I would say being intentional. Sometimes I don't know, but I notice that when I'm intentional with what I want to do, it happens. And I get more feedback, more likes and views. So I love that.
Love it. Hey, Brian, can you run this over to her? Thank you. Who else has something you got? By the way, this is not what I'm about to throw out, but y'all want to just see these chocolates for a quick? I should maybe pass this around. Do you think we could pass this around, or are they going to disappear?
There's another box in there.
Okay, there's another box in there?
Yeah.
Is it bigger or the same?
There are 3 boxes.
Three? Then we'll give this one out.
And there's a Dubai bar, the famous
All right.
Dubai bar.
Who else wants to
That's
share a
there too.
takeaway and get this beautiful chocolate? Nobody? Who else wants to share what you got from this? Somebody. Yeah, right here. Let's hear it.
I don't want chocolate. But
Okay, let's even eat.
I went from being a stay-at-home mom, posting just milestones. I thought I was loud enough, but okay.
She was doing well.
I went from being a stay-at-home mom. I'm still a mom. That didn't go away, but posting just milestones on my social media constantly,
and it was maybe once or twice a month-ish if I got there, and to starting doing this real estate journey and learning about myself and trying to engage every single day, even if it's something silly as look at what I ate or whatever, which feels very foreign to me, but having that constant feedback of just post something. It doesn't even have to really be good, but just post something, and it's starting to get me to the point where I'm like, holy crap, like I'm good at community stuff, and I'm good at people coming in from other states because that's what I did. So in learning how to do this constantly, I learned what kind of my niche is, which is helping me in particular. So
Love it. Love it. All right. Anyone else? One more takeaway? Someone just yell it out over here. Yep. We don't need run her over. Why not?
I learned that I need to step up my game.
Love it.
And also, I do post, and I starting to post even more so. And like she said, once it's intentional, you do get the feedback more. But you guys got that team, which is great. I've got to get there. Like I said, I got to step up my game.
You'll get there. Keep going.
All right. There we go. Let's give it up for the two of them. Let's keep this thing rolling. You guys ready to hear from Zoga and Elliott? Let's give them a giant round of applause. Thank you, thank you. We'll give away some more of Diana's stuff later, so don't worry. Let me get you. So this is Elliott's third year in real estate. She's previously a digital marketer, 2025 35 under 35 winner, and crushing it on social media right now. Zoga is a Florida realtor, multifaceted background in banking, mortgage lending, real estate, and federal law enforcement. In 2023, made the decision to jump into real estate, and now he grew from 1,000 people to 100,000 followers within a year, and then some, and he's from the greatest city in the world other than Orlando. Go Birds. Let's give it up for the two of them, Elliott and Zoga. All right, so this is a little different than we've done before, but I just figured that two of them are people that are either were just featured or about to be just featured when the next magazine hits as rising stars, but both of them are just crushing it on social media with very intentional strategies that work for them and that we're seeing the results year over year, a few years in. So I decided it might make sense for us to interview them to talk a little bit about how they picked their strategy and how it's working so far. But really quick, let me, Elliott, can I have you just inch forward maybe a little bit, Zoga, maybe half an inch back, just so we're not totally perfect. Yeah, I think that's good. Brian, you think that's good? Looks good to you, right? Give it up for Brian Price, by the way. And can y'all give it up for Dave Stewart and the crew with DStewart Productions doing all the video and all the audio, always at Masterclass? All right, let's talk about your strategy specifically. So start with you, Zoga. Tell a little bit about, like, when you jumped into it, you started with the end in mind. Talk a little bit about what the plan was from the start and how that's working today.
Absolutely. So for me, again, I was brand new to the real estate world. Got my license in 2023. And as somebody who enjoys strategy and marketing, I was trying to figure out how I could get into real estate and make a big splash right away. And I noticed what everybody else was doing was a traditional form of marketing at the time, right? So farming, mailers, and so forth. And that wasn't really my jam. I already understood social media. I spent tons of hours learning and spending money on different masterminds, courses, and so forth. And given that there wasn't a big, not a whole lot of competition in the social media space when I got into it, I figured that was going to be the way for me to make a big splash in the Orlando market.
And when you say competition, explain specifically, because some people get it and some people hear that and they're like, what do you mean? Everyone's on social media.
Well, I mean, like any other business, right? You kind of want to see what everybody's doing and how you could compete. So for me, I'm like, I know social media, so I'm going to double down on what I already know compared to learning how to call, how to do things that, it would take me a while to learn.
And so your space, just to make sure everyone follows, is kind of similar to Kristen in some ways. You're following what's new in Orlando, opening in Orlando, lifestyle in Orlando, happening in Orlando.
So as somebody
how do you break that down?
So as somebody who relocated here to the Orlando about 8 years ago, my avatar, we talked about earlier, I heard you ladies talking about kind of figuring out who is your target audience. So my avatar was people relocating to the area. And I understood their pain points very well because I was one of those people. So the content I started creating was based on that. I didn't have to research it. I knew what they're looking for. because I was one of those people.
Love it. Elliott, let's talk about the same thing, because I feel like this is kind of similar for you. How did you pick your strategy, and who's your avatar?
Yeah, so I feel like when I first started, it's actually funny because me and Zoga started real estate the same exact day in the same exact office, so it's cool to be here. But I feel like when I started social media, I was kind of trying everything and nothing was working. So when I really found content that I actually liked posting is when I found I really liked doing social media, and is when it really started to pay off. So the strategy for me is to really just be myself and post whatever I want. I kind of think of myself as like a lifestyle influencer, because people like to follow me based off of my personality and my brand, not just the fact that I do real estate. I think real estate is like the least coolest thing about me. I think I do, a lot of other cool stuff, and I think that that's just like a piece of me. So again, I think people like to follow me and they like my content just because they like my brand and they like my personality, and I just so happen to do real estate. So that's really my strategy, and going into it makes it a lot more fun than just being like, okay, I have to think about like, what am I going to post to reach people? Like, what's going to work? It's really just about like, okay, this is what I love to do in Orlando. And I can also touch on the relocation as well, because I also relocated here. So people also do connect with my story about how I moved to Orlando and I didn't know anybody. So I post a lot about relocating, and mainly just to Florida. So I like to sell Florida as a whole, because I've actually seen a really big success on social media, getting a lot of referrals. Because if somebody wants to move to Jacksonville, if they want to move to Tampa, if they want to move to South Florida, we all kind of know what those areas are like a little bit. So we're able to, and we all know agents that are in those areas, so we're able to build a big referral business based on that. So if I'm able to sell Florida and then, niche down a couple videos on Orlando, that really reaches out to a wide audience.
Love it. So if I'm hearing you right, both of you guys targeting people that are moving to Orlando or moving to Florida. Yes. And both of you are transplants. Where are you both from?
Philly.
Philly?
I'm from Atlanta.
Atlanta. All right. So, all right, let's backtrack on strategy. So you both decided you're going to relocation people. How do you pick what you're actually going to talk about, where you're going to shoot, what you're going to shoot? How often do you do it? Tell me a little about the planning and the system behind actually creating the content.
So the content style, for me, it was more so creating content that came authentic to who I am. I'm a very social person. I go out a lot. You'll find me always out in the mix, whether it's daytime or nighttime. So it came natural for me to create content based around that. So the restaurants, the nightlife, the real estate, everything that kind of came natural because that's already in that space. I already go out there and do it. So
just so, in case you haven't seen it, you're going out and doing what? You're telling them about what just got built or what the newest restaurant is?
So that's part of the real estate content, right? So you got the new construction, you got what's coming, what's being built. That's the one pillar. The other pillar is the things to do, right? Places to go. Those are the lifestyle part of it for those relocating to the area who want to understand Orlando, what Orlando has to offer beyond just theme parks.
Love it. What are all the pillars? Are there only 2 or are there 4?
So there's different ones, right? So you have the real estate one, for me at least. I got the real estate one. I got the lifestyle portion of it. And then the third one will be more like news, right? Whether you're doing a green screen or just talking about something that is significant enough that you want to get the message out. You're almost like a news reporter at the same time.
Love it.
Right, so you're a content creator, news reporter, lifestyle curator.
How often do you shoot, and when do you shoot?
I shoot twice a week, and we usually get enough content for 2 weeks.
How long does it take?
About 4 hours.
So you shoot about 8 hours?
8 hours total, yeah.
Got it. And then who edits it?
So I have a videographer and retainer. He does all the recording and editing. I come up with the scripts, the visuals. I'm pretty much the producer, writer, and actor, and he's the
Who disseminates the info? Who manages posting it and stuff like that?
I handle that. Yeah.
And Elliott, how about you? How do you plan your content strategy, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so I try to go out at least once a week. And honestly, it's just me doing fun stuff in Orlando. It's me getting a matcha. It's me, going to a park. It's going to a restaurant, maybe going to a coffee shop. And then I've planned to collaborate with that specific coffee shop on a post. So those days are really fun for me because I'm really just doing what I want to do and I'm having fun in Orlando. So what I really like to focus on is a lot of B-roll. So I don't really do a lot of talking, at least on the video. I might do, a voiceover or something like that. that's really easy for me to batch the content so I can go back to my computer when I am editing. I do everything myself. I do the posting, the editing, everything. So when I am sitting down, I'm like, okay, what can I make from this content? I like to follow a lot of the trends. So, I don't try to batch, a month in advance because, something could be trending for 2-3 days. And I want to make sure that, I have the ability to make something in that way. So it's fun for me. I think content is really fun. And it's really just me doing stuff in Orlando. And that's why I like it.
Is that what Libby's shooting right now?
Yes.
I'm like, maybe
Yes.
maybe before you're done, we'll all go crazy or something. You get a really cool B-roll.
Yeah, I was like, walk around, do this, shoot this. So yeah.
Y'all want to do it real fast?
She's right, though. You do have to enjoy it. You do have to enjoy
talk
creating
about
content because it's like a full-time job. It's like a secondary job. So if you don't enjoy it, maybe double down on what you're already good at. But for me, marketing was something I enjoy, so it just came natural.
Talk about converting the people. Like, how do you make sure that you're not just getting likes and followers, but it's turning into sales?
So I think I heard Christian talking about consistency earlier. When I got into the real estate space, I sold one of my lots for $50,000. I took that budget, I set it aside to hire a videographer. I was in it to win it. Like, I was gonna commit to a year, I was gonna hire somebody. And there was no, like, I'm posting for a month and I'm stopping. No, we're gonna go a whole year with this. I didn't get to see any conversions until, I would say, the 3rd month. So imagine, you're posting.
Took you 90 days at least, yeah.
Yeah, to get the first lead. So for a lot of people who get started in this space, I think they give up too soon. You gotta stick with it. Okay, and it's better, another thing I hear a lot of people complaining about is they have this fear, right, of not being liked and so forth. I would say this, it's better for you guys to mess up when you only have 100 followers versus 100,000 or 1 million people watching you, okay? This is when you get your reps in.
Amen. Do you have anything to add to that, Elliott?
Yeah, I mean, are we talking about conversion?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I agree with everything that he said. I mean, kind of backtracking, you have to love your content. I think a lot of people think of it as like, oh, this is a job. Like, I sell real estate, so everything has to be about real estate. And kind of like I said, I like to frame my content around like my life and not just about real estate, because I think, people aren't going to follow me just because I do real estate. They're going to follow me because of my brand and because of my personality. But I think with conversion, the best thing to do is automate your social media, even if you're not seeing, tons and tons of leads and conversion coming in at the very beginning. Automating your social media is always going to be best. I use Stan. I don't know if anybody's heard about it, but it does everything that you kind of need it to do. It can reply back to comments for you. It can DM people. It's only $40 a month. So I have all of my digital products on there, like my relocation guide, my forms for buyers and sellers to fill out. I have those on there. To be honest, not a ton of people fill those out. A lot of people just DM me, and I'm able to send them those links directly. So automating your social media is super important so that you're not on social media constantly. I mean, like you said, it is a full-time job, but I think a lot of people put too much pressure on like, oh, I sell real estate, so my whole social media has to be about real estate.
Let's talk a little about let's unpack what you just said, because some of the people totally followed and some people think they followed, but they missed a bunch of nuggets you just went through, because first of all, you have a what kind of guide?
A relocation guide.
And what's really that's a lead magnet.
Yes.
So you have a lead magnet created, which is something of value that people want to give you their information for. So that's just a digital marketing concept in general. So you've got a lead magnet, that's the content guide. What else what was the other thing? You
Yes.
have links to forms for what?
Yeah, so I have a buyer form and a seller form. It's just a Google form that I created. So, I kind of can base if somebody's really serious based on that. If they're going to fill out the form, I know that they're serious about relocating to Orlando. So that way, it's just 10 questions where I ask them, a little bit about what they're looking for, when they want to move, stuff like that. But yeah, they're all lead magnets. So even my videos that I do about Florida, I'll say comment relocate for my relocation guide, and people comment relocate, and Stan automatically sends them the relocation guide, and then I have their email. Once I have their email, I'm able to put them into my email list, and then I send a monthly newsletter, so I'm always top of mind when it comes to people who have my guide.
So you're offering them something to give you their information. You're building that list. You're sending them the thing. It's positioning you as an expert, helping out people, and then forms for people that say they're interested to go through, so that they're not like sitting with you for an hour. So this is something we do too. Like, I realized that everyone that ever asked me about real producers, I was sitting with for an hour or maybe longer and explaining it. And I realized half the time that was a waste of my time. And so we created an application. I've had, I don't know, 200 plus people fill out the application, and they answer all the questions I would ever want to ask them in person. And if they don't answer all the questions, they're not that interested. So when we get and we tell them, or we get an introduction, it's like, sweet, go fill out this application and apply to do it. For you guys, it's fill this out so I know, how to serve you best, or however you're wording it. It's probably a little bit different. But in the end of the day, I think the nugget here is building the lead magnet, the resources, anything that you're doing repetitively, you should probably be asking yourself whether there's a way to outsource, optimize, or automate it, and whether there's something you could do to not be in the middle. Because I'm cutting in and out, by the way. One of my mentors always says that if you're a cog in the wheel, you're a clog in the wheel. And a lot of the time, you are the bottleneck to your business's growth because everything's running through not just you, but you synchronously, meaning you having to sit on the phone or in front of the person instead of directing them to something where it moves along while you're doing whatever you got to do. Zoga, talk a little about what types of things you have in place to convert people.
As far as lead magnets?
Yeah, or lead magnets, anything digital, or what you're doing in the DMs to make sure this converts.
So I use ManyChat, or at least I used to use ManyChat, but I found it to be ineffective, to be honest with you, because it does come off a little bit robotic, and people could tell after a while. In the beginning, I was replying to most of the DMs myself, but as you grow to a certain level, it is going to become harder for you to do that. So right now, I don't have any lead magnets in place. I'm actually working on a few that I think are going to be, and it's lead magnets based on things that I get questions the most on, right?
Sure.
Compared to your organic lead magnets that you might see out there. But most of my leads, my content, I usually have them go straight into scheduling consultation. That's usually
also, just to make sure they follow, you end every video saying what?
Well,
your videos aren't about real estate at all, for the most part, right?
They're not.
But how do they end?
And that's why I never start with who I am. I leave it to the end, right? So if you notice all my videos, it always ends the same way, because I want to provide value first, and then let you know who I am. Nobody cares who you are until
show them what you do.
Value.
What do you do at the end?
What?
Just pretend we're shooting a video.
This is Zoga, if ever look a realtor. I'll see you on the next video.
Love it. Give them a round of applause. It's as simple as that, right?
Simple as that. But what you're doing is you're training them to expect it. So actually, I was split testing this the other day. I did a video where I didn't do that, and the comments are like, "Yo, what happened to your?" Because they're used to it, right? So that's part of creating that personal brand.
Yeah, you got to flip it
You have
up
to have
or
that
throw
consistency and so
in
forth.
a pause or something. Elliott, what do you do to work real estate into your content in a way that isn't pushing real estate?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of my, relocation stuff that's about Florida is like, this is what your life would look like when you move to Florida. I'm a big storyteller in my captions, so, I'll kind of do like a really long caption because my content isn't as informational or educational like Zoga's is. So I'll kind of create a story in my captions of like, I was super scared when I relocated to Orlando when I was 18 years old. I knew absolutely nobody. I had no family here. And, that's my big thing with my content is that's kind of how I connect with people is with my story, and other people can relate to that. So I don't really have like a punchline or anything like that, but I think it's my story that connects with other people that really lands with a lot of my followers.
All right, I got two last questions. I want to know the best tip, strategy, or tactic that you've learned, or we could flip it on the biggest mistake you've learned not to make. Let's start with that. Just biggest tip, like that actually makes your content work, or that people are screwing up that makes their content not work.
I think most people do a copy and paste, right? They see somebody else's content working, they try to replicate it. But what happens is it loses its authenticity. Now, just to be vulnerable for you guys very quickly, I remember when my content started getting copied, I used to kind of hate it. I'm like, why is people doing the same thing I'm doing? But I realized pretty early that people copy because they haven't found their voice yet. And they are inspired by what you're doing. They're not trying to be you. They're inspired by what's working for you, and they want to do something similar. But my advice is you have to find your voice when you're creating content. Because the whole point of social media is for you to be able to find your tribe, okay? By being you. You're being shown to millions, and eventually the people that like you for who you are going to follow you. and everybody else will not, and that's okay. That's not the people that are going to do
Yeah, you
business
want to
with you
repel
anymore.
the wrong people,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Stop wasting your time with them.
Exactly, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, and social media allows you to do that at a massive scale.
Love it. Elliot, how about mistakes you see people making or best things you learned to make
Yeah,
them
I
happen?
mean, I agree with everything that you said. It's pretty spot on. But yeah, I think the biggest mistake that people make is not being consistent. I mean, I was one of those people in the very beginning. I put my hands in too many buckets when I first started real estate. You know, I was doing the cold calling, the social media, the door knocking, the open houses, and I think if you're gonna go all in on social media, like go all in, because if I would have gone all in 3 years ago, my business probably would look completely different than it does now. So, you know, I'm still in the very growing phase, but I think the biggest mistake is just not staying consistent and not doing it long enough to see the results. I think a lot of people give up, you know, before they can even see any results. But yeah, I mean, post what you want to post. Like, that's my mantra, is like, if you love your content, like, who cares what other people are going to think? I think a lot of people put so much pressure on, like, I'm a real estate agent, I have to post about real estate, or like, you know, I can't post this because I'm in real estate. Like, I will post whatever I want to post, and people follow me and they want to work with me because I'm who I am and being authentic to myself. So post what you want to post and love your content.
Any last second strategy or last, like, anything you wish you shared or that you want to make sure that people hear?
Regarding social media in general?
In general, any last minute advice, thoughts, things you need to share or they need to hear?
I would say for those of you who are doing social media, you need to start leveraging AI even more than ever before. So the two things that I'm kind of doubling down on is social media and AI. Not as far as like production, but more so for effective communication and other parts of the business. So just
So
find
have
a way
AI
to
write all your posts?
No,
I'm just kidding.
No, absolutely not. Can't do that. But if you are coming across a writer's block, you could definitely use it for ideation, but not for writing.
Love it. How are you using it? Or how should
Me?
they be using it?
Like I said, I use it for ideation. I use it for effective communication with clients. For instance, one of the things that I like to do is all my consultations, they get transcribed through AI. And then I'm able to use AI to identify all the pain points of my client.
Love
that
it.
makes it a lot easier. First of all, I have a very sloppy handwriting, so by the time I'm done.
Are you using Plaude or something like that?
No. So I record all my consultations through iPhone. iPhone has the feature now where you can record it, and then everything gets transcribed to the AI. So,
Love it.
And then you put in the right prompts to get what you want out of it. So.
Understood. Elliot, any last things you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say have fun with it. Like, people put so much pressure on content creation and social media. Have fun with it and think of how you can relate it to your life that you're already living. I know everyone goes out to dinner, goes to coffee shops, hangs out with friends. Like, how can you relate your life and your social media and just do it? I think it's, a lot of people are scared to put themselves out there on social media, but what I've learned is that the people who actually like you and support you are never going to make fun of you on social media. You might get those haters. Like, we've all gotten the comments that was like, don't move to Orlando, we're already full, or like, you know, all those comments that you get, but ignore those because, like Zoga said, like, your tribe will find you, and I think that's really powerful.
Oh, can I add something to that?
Sure.
Regarding the hate you're going to start receiving on social media, and it's going to happen. Whether sooner or later, and the more followers, the more views you get, it's going to happen. One of the things that I was making a mistake on early on, I would go back and forth with the trolls, right? And I realized how much time I was wasting. I'm like, I just wasted like 3 hours and a whole lot of headspace dealing with this. So the way I started dealing with it is, first of all, this is my personal digital billboard. I'm not going to allow you to tell the story for me or to shy clients away from what I'm doing. So instead of arguing with them or deleting the comment, what I started doing was restricting the comment because it doesn't hurt the algorithm or your viewership. It doesn't delete the comment, so it still counts as a comment, but nobody else can see it but the troll.
Love
and
it.
that's the best way to shut up a troll is by them getting no engagement because nobody can see it.
Hey, on that note, y'all write this down. Dogs don't chase parked cars. They don't chase parked cars. They are coming at you because you are moving, and that is what a lot of people forget. But also, one of my mentors taught me something that I was wondering if it would fit, so I wasn't going to share it, but since you bring it up, people will all drive and they'll stop. If you drive by a train wreck or a car wreck, people will stop to look at it. They won't pay to watch it. You won't find one person that would buy a ticket to see a car crash, but you won't find one person that'll drive by and not turn their head. So what happens in social media is a lot of people don't realize that their engagement or the attention they're getting because there's a car crash is not the attention that they want to be playing in, because people won't pay for it. They're going to watch, they're going to look, but when you're rolling in the mud, people will watch you get dirty, but they won't pay to join you. Does that make sense? Anyway, any other thoughts? Let's give it up for the two of them. All right, somebody share a takeaway from the crowd, and then I got to bring up the last group. Someone share a takeaway. I got more stuff to give out. Someone yell one out. Who learned something? Yeah, in the very back. Trevor.
Absolutely, and Trevor kills it on social media. He has such an awesome social media, so definitely follow him if you don't already.
Love it. Let's get another one from the crowd. Who else has a takeaway? Diana, is this men's or women's? I didn't actually smell. Oh, okay, cool. So I can give this to Trevor. I was like, I hope I'm not about to hand him some perfume. Hey, if I'm wrong, I'll trade that gift with you. All right, who else has something? Yep, over here. What was it called, Elliott, that you use?
Yeah, it's called Stand Store. It's a website. I think it's $39 a month, and you can do everything. You can sell digital products on there. You can link your lead magnets on there. You can pretty much do anything. So it's basically just a link in bio. So it's super easy, and it's honestly been super effective. You don't have to have ManyChat plus Stan, because Stan also does the auto DM, the auto comment, and everything. And it also, you can create landing pages on it. So it's a really effective platform.
Love it. Who else has a share? PJ, you had something? Find your voice. By the way, let's give it up for PJ, because he bought all the food that's out for when we finish. You can, the first, 50 or 60 people or so that grab food can have it, and the rest of y'all can figure out what you're doing for lunch. Thank you. To PJ. All right. One more. Let's grab one more. Somebody? Yep. Yeah, don't give up on it. Let's give everyone a round of applause that spoke. Let's give them a round of applause. Now I'm going to bring 3 people up that are actually shooting this stuff for way more, like between the 3 of them, they're probably doing 90% of the videos in the real estate space right now. So I was like, you know what? How about the content creators, like the guys that are actually behind the cameras and see all the agents' material and what works, what doesn't, what should be happening, what's not working. They're the ones that actually have to study how to shoot, what to shoot, where to shoot at a whole deeper level. So I'm going to bring them up here. So we've got Vic DeVore with DeVore Design. You guys probably already know him. We've got Alex Serrao with StudioCLI, used to be Coastal Luxury Image, coming all the way from the Space Coast area. They're also here. They have a studio here in Orlando, but they work with a lot of the top agents on the Space Coast and spread here recently. Vic serves also, probably 20 counties or something. And we also got Alex and Mohsin. Mohsin's probably, are you guys both joining me? Just Mohsin? Mohsin's joined us from Florida Home Photo. Let's give it up for Mohsin. Probably one of the fastest growing real estate media companies in the area. So anyway, each of you should have a mic, and all you got to do is flick the switch to the side. Mohsin, if you just pull yourself forward like an inch or so, and Vic, go like an inch back so you guys are kind of staggered, that'd be sweet. I'm going to ask you kind of general questions because I want to make sure you guys share the nuggets that they should hear. But let's talk about let's talk first about what agents should be doing that you're constantly repeating and teaching and telling people that they need to be doing when it comes to shooting media. Let's start with that. I'll start with you, Mohsin. What do you think agents need to be doing or should be doing? And y'all make sure you speak into the mic so the people on Zoom can hear you.
So we do all kinds of media. So let's talk about listing media, for example. So if you're at a listing, it's for sale, and you're making a social media video, don't say your name, don't say the address. You only have 3 seconds to catch someone's attention. So you want to give them value first, just like Zoga said, just like Elliott said. You want to give them value as to why to watch the video. And you're missing the entire point if you're just saying, hey, I'm blah and blah, and we're at XYZ Sample Street. They're going to just scroll past it because you're selling them something. Instead, you want to start with the best selling points of the house, and it doesn't even have to be at the front of the house. It can be at the pool, wherever the best part of the house is. So you want to give them a reason to watch the video with a hook, something that piques curiosity, and then you want to give them the context in the middle of the video, so you're delivering on it, and then your call to action at the end. That's typically a framework that we've seen work.
Repeat that back just to make sure they all got it.
Yeah, so you want to start with a hook that either piques curiosity or just says something a little bold. You don't have to jump in the pool, don't do that as well, or a speed tour, don't do that either. But you want to start off with a hook. You want to deliver on that hook, so you want to give curiosity, provide it, and then give a call to action at the end.
Love it.
That's for listing media.
You want to give us an example of a hook? I don't put you on the spot, so if that's too hard, we can switch it.
I'll use one from a previous video we did. We were shooting in Bella Collina, so we said money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you this $4 million house in Bella Collina, which is pretty close. And then it was a beautiful kitchen, so instead of just saying, look at this double island with these waterfall edges, we said something along the lines of, wow, you put me on the spot. Something along the lines of, with a kitchen this grand, every meal you cook for your family will have a Michelin star. So you're kind of saying something with delivering sort of piquing curiosity. You want to give them a reason to watch, like, okay, I want to see what that kitchen looks like. So those are just a few examples.
Love it. It's great. Alex, what do you think? What are you constantly telling people they need to be doing or not doing?
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of things. I think Mohsin has a lot of great points here. So something that we've brought up when you're creating the hook, everyone's like, how do you make the hook? And it should be punchy and undeniable. Those are like two things that we always say. And if you're using ChatGPT, tell it like, I want a punchy and undeniable hook. But then it's like, well, what is the hook? How do you find it? One of the questions that you can ask is, if there's a house 3 doors down, same neighborhood, same price point, what is the difference in this house? Why would somebody pick this one? And just take that answer and kind of reverse engineer it. It's like, great, that is kind of our hook. And now it can be something where, you know, like what Mohsin's saying here, you make it kind of a little more dramatic. Maybe it's the kitchen and that's the difference. And you say the Michelin star line, maybe that's the hook. But the question is, if the same house 3 doors down, what is the difference here? I think that's something that we typically do to start a video off.
All right, there we go. Do you have any other examples you want to give before I switch to Vic? Any other ones come to mind of a video that worked really well?
Videos that...
Well, let's circle back with all of you. Think about a video that worked really well, and then I'm going to ask you guys all about it in a few minutes. Vic, let's talk about what you're constantly telling people and reminding people or coaching them on.
Well, reminding them of two things. One, show up to your shoots. Even if you're not doing video, show up to your shoot. You're going to get better results when you actually show up to your photo shoot every time. And we know, I mean, we work with some very busy agents, and the most successful agents, they show up to their shoot. Even if it's a small condo, they'll show up just to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be, and they're going to get better results. When it comes to hooks, my advice to everybody, assume the sale. This is the house that you are going to spend the summer at, in the pool. You're going to be on the lake boating. This is where you are going to be. That's what I like to tell agents, assume the sale. Just, I mean, it's bold, but tell the viewer that they are going to be in this house and they're going to be doing everything with their family that they've dreamt of doing. I think it's a good way to kind of open your content.
Let me stay with you, Vic, and ask you a question I didn't prepare all of you for. What do you think that agents need to be evaluating and looking at when it comes to picking who's shooting their media and their content? What are some of the questions, things they should look for, things they should notice, ways to tell the difference?
I mean, I think that your creativity is going to come in the way that the property kind of flows. So when you see your real estate photographer really studying the floor plan and studying the features of the property, you're going to have a successful photo shoot or a successful video. And you want to have a walkthrough with your photographer prior to, hitting the shutter button, because having that walkthrough, making sure that the photographer and you and your sellers are all on the same page are going to provide you with better results. It's important that you have that walkthrough at the beginning of your shoot. and just make sure everybody's on the same page. And again, you know, you're going to notice your photographer really studying the space and looking at the angles, looking at the views, and really making sure they're going to capture everything that is important about that property.
Love it. Alex, what do you tell agents they should be looking for or evaluating when it comes to picking who does their media?
Yeah, it's kind of a hard question. I think what he's saying is a good point. When you're looking at a media company, one of the first things that it's really our mission statement. How do we help you sell a home faster, and how do we help you sell it for more money? And that, at the end of the day, is the goal, right? We're not just trying to take a pretty picture. We're not just trying to take a pretty video. We're trying to sell the house. Trying to sell it faster. We don't want 100 days on market, and we're trying to sell it for more money because that's what the sellers and you want, right? So if we can have that as a plan going in, everyone that we work with, our whole team, that is what our mission is about. When we have the team meetings, it's like, how do we actually help these houses move faster, and then also build the personal brand? If you are selling houses, that is a really good opportunity. Like if you have listings right now, it's a great opportunity to use that to build your brand. You don't just have to go out to a park. You don't have to go to the restaurant. Use these videos to show that you're actually involved in, in selling the properties, and that's going to really help you a lot in the long term.
Love it. Mohsin?
Yeah, exactly what they said. And just to double down, I think when picking a media company to work with, you definitely have to pick someone that's an actual partner, not just a contractor you're getting out to come shoot the property. They're there. You have to turn on all the lights. You have to open the blinds. They actually have your best intention in mind. So they're hiding the dog bowls, or they're hiding the trash cans, because their success equals your success. And you want to pick someone that you're comfortable with, that makes you shine, that isn't there just to hit record and say, okay, that was a good take, but your shirt was a little untucked, maybe your strap was a little loose. So someone that makes you do 5 takes, 10 takes, makes you say, okay, that word, you kind of lost energy there, let's do it one more time, or keep your hands here, or maybe start walking, or do this. Someone that, because we are doing this day in, day out, so we are the subject matter experts, you want to pick someone that kind of translates that into your business, because if you do well, we'll do well. And that's kind of how you should pick your team.
Love it. Biggest mistakes you see agents making with their, or the people that shoot their stuff, either or?
Yeah, so I think, like what Zoga said, a lot of people are going on social media and consuming and then imitating. I think going on social media is a huge plus. It's a big resource, but instead of consuming, I think changing your mindset into studying the content and making it your own is absolutely huge. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to take what your favorite creators are doing, whether it's in the real estate space or not, and just making it your own, adding your own voice, and that's going to shine through way more than just copying a speed tour or a hide and seek thing, you know?
Love it. Alex? Mistakes you see?
Yeah, I think volume negates luck. We say that a lot, where most of us just post a video and it's like, cool, we did it. And then you wait. Like, how many people just have crickets in between a listing? It's like, we did a video and then next listing comes up and now it's the time to do another video. But volume negates luck. If you do so many videos that it would be unreasonable for you to be unsuccessful, that's the right path. You just have to keep doing it, keep making the videos, because you have unlimited at-bats. You can just sit here and hit the ball over and over and over, and one of those videos is going to do well. And when that video does well, do that same kind again. Like, you found that little thing that's yours. Do it again, do it again. And then one little tip here, if you see a video do well, put some money behind it. Do a little boost. You know, on Instagram, you have the opportunity as a realtor to have a 15-mile radius that you can boost your post for $50, and you'll probably reach 14,000 people. Why would you not spend $50 to reach 14,000 people on a video that you know does well? Do it over and over.
Love it. Vic?
I think one of the biggest mistakes is also one of the biggest opportunities, and it's not taking advantage of every single listing that you have. Every single listing that you have is a content opportunity. If we're out there staging a property, that's an opportunity for you to come out, have Shay come out, get some branding photos. It's an opportunity to have reels, to have video content filmed. So every time you have a listing, that's an opportunity to create content. Maybe the listing is near some shops. Maybe the listing itself's not great, but it's near something that is great. that's a content opportunity. And you can still promote the listing and promote yourself. So I think one of the biggest mistakes is just not taking advantage of every single listing that you have.
Let's talk about planning, batching, ideation phase of content. Like, let's talk about all those things. What are you telling agents when it comes to planning, scheduling, coming up with, scripting, all that stuff? Give me some nuggets on the whole picture of what agents need to be doing to make their content good and consistent. I'll start with you, Vic.
So we'll try to help with the script writing process when we can, and you know it's everything that these gentlemen have discussed. You're not telling them it's 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. You're assuming the sale. You're really going to create a hook that's going to keep people from scrolling and that want to engage with your content and engage with you. If you're into food, if you're into boating, integrate that into your content. When you walk into the kitchen, talk about why this is such a great range, or why, you know, if that's your brand, if you're really into, I was having this conversation with an agent the other day. He's really into cooking and grilling and food. Well, integrate that into your listing media then. Make that part of your brand, because you're not going to have 5 listings a week unless you're with Posit Group. But you know, like you're going to have to sprinkle your listing content into your regular content. And if your content is about something that you enjoy, which it should be, because that's how you're going to connect with your audience. You're not going to connect with your audience with interest rates and real estate news. You're going to connect with them through the things that you love, that your audience is also passionate about, and bring that into your listing media.
Love it. Alex, you want to answer that as well as
Yeah,
like how do you come up with the content? What do you tell them about that?
Yeah, we've taken scripting really seriously. It's hard to write a script. I don't know if you guys know this. We write a lot of scripts, and what we have done, so we kind of have 2 sides of the business, the listings and then the content creation. So for listings, when you go on our website and you book a showcase package, we automatically send you a form, and it's just basically, hey, tell us a little bit about the property, and then we write the script right there and send it to you for approval before we even show up to the shoot. And then if you want to make any changes, by all means, like, let's work together. Collaboration is the key. And then if you are on a monthly retainer with us, so we shoot a lot of content on monthly retainers, we have somebody in-house that's a marketing manager that you will have a meeting with once a month, and we will write all the scripts for you. So this just makes it so much more efficient. We show up to a shoot, we're shooting for a couple hours together, there's a game plan in place. And we didn't used to do it that way. This is learning from experience. You know, you used to just show up to a shoot and hope that it worked. And that gets you a certain, distance, but then you just refine, you learn. So I think over time, just having the people in-house that really understand this and do it day in and day out makes a huge difference.
And you have packages that not only are listing stuff, but also like, You've told us to me before, lifestyle and around the stuff. Kind of explain, not necessarily the packages, but how you're having people balance both types of content.
Yeah, so many people have talked about it today, but just balancing the lifestyle portion of real estate. Not everyone is just going to go follow you because you're selling houses. I think you have to show up and show that you're part of the community, show that you know what's going on. So many people are relocating. We talked about earlier with relocation. If you're the person that is telling them where the best spots are, telling them where, what's going on with school districts or what school's being built. We do a lot of YouTube content as well, which is a long game, but it is super effective. If you're making a YouTube video about a community, about a neighborhood, about a new thing going on, that is going to be lead generation forever.
How many miles radius from the listing are you shooting lifestyle stuff typically?
Yeah, I mean, if it's for the listing itself, usually within like 1 to 2 miles. If you're doing a farm area, we say 15 miles. And the reason that we say 15 miles is because on Instagram, if you're trying to boost things, housing is one of the special categories, I'm sure you guys know. And when you're in a special category, as a realtor, you cannot boost a post within a smaller range than 15 miles. So stick with that if you're planning on doing any kind of like advertising with it.
Love it. Mohsin?
Yeah, before we move on from the advertising, if you boost your post on a desktop, you're going to save more money than on the app. So just a little bit of tip.
Say that one more time.
It's like 40%.
So they all know.
Yeah, so if you boost your post on your phone, Apple takes like 30 or 40%. But if you boost it on the Instagram.com, just website, you're going to save a lot of money.
Love it.
But jumping back to the content thing, So we do listings, listing media, and then we also do content packages. But for the content, it's really important to audit your following or the people that follow you. I think one of you guys touched on this prior. Look at your audience. What do they care about? Are you a military vet? Did you just move here? What does that audience look like? Get to know what they care about when it comes to the buying and selling journey, and then fit your message into that using your personality. So when it comes to the content things, we'll help you script it. You're a realtor, you have 100 things going on. Like I said, we do this day in, day out, so we help you with the scripting process and help you find your voice. Typically, you just have to figure out what your objectives are, your long-term play, and then we can boil that down into the micro level, into the scripting aspect of it. And yeah, that 80% is always preparation. Shooting should be 20% of it. You should have your scripts or at least your bullet points of what you want to touch on prior. So that way, when you come to shooting, you're not having to memorize a line, because there's a huge difference when you see someone online trying to memorize their lines. You see their gears grinding when they're on camera versus someone that's actually feeling it. And when you can get that authenticity to come out, that's absolutely huge. That's when your media really turns around.
All right, sorry. How many of you guys learned something from these people so far? I still have one last question for them, and it's going to be about what you wish you talked about if we gave you a 1-minute soapbox or your last tidbit. But in a second, I want to quickly promote. Y'all pull your phones out really quickly and hold them up if you have your phone. I'm pretty sure everybody has their phone with them. It'd be weird if you didn't. All right, if you pull your phone out and just go to the link that's right on the screen or scan the QR code that's on the screen, you can register for next month's masterclass, which is going to be July 17th, right back here. We're here for the rest of the year. By the way, can we give it up for Les and the crew that run Maitland Civic Center or venue on Lake Lily? All right, here's why you want to come back next month. Next month, we got a special guest and an awesome panel. We're going to be talking about persuasive conversations and negotiation. We're going to break down tactics, psychology, and systems of elite real estate negotiators. Lindsay K. Voss is going to be coming. She sold $80 million since 2023. TJ Cosgrove's coming. They sold $1 billion since the pandemic. And Bree Tucker, also from Ken Posick team, is a top 50 agent last year in all of Greater Orlando out of 24,000. So that's a lot. But we also have a special guest, the author of Make Sales Great Again, my friend Todd Speciale. He's awesome. Let's just say that. He's going to be bring the energy to a level that we probably never had on this stage. But make sure you register for that. That's July 17th. And then the following month, if you want to scan this, we've got a panel that's pretty cool what they do. They all not only sell at the very, very top of our real estate world, but they also do kind of like the Property Brothers approach, where they all renovate and have GC licenses, things like that. So Daryl Nunnally, we got Christina Aguirre, we got Christina and Deanna Armel with Armel Real Estate. We've got Heather Unger with Acme Real Estate, and basically all of them sell tens and tens of millions of dollars every single year, but they also will sell someone a property that hasn't quite been built into their dream home yet. They'll sell both elements of it, which is selling them on what it could look like, and then they actually do the work, and it's going to be pretty amazing to hear from them. So make sure you sign up for that one. All right, y'all ready for me to ask them one last question? We'll keep this simple. What else do you wish you talked about today? What would you share if you had a 1-minute soapbox? Or what's one more piece of information that these agents would appreciate you telling them? I'll go to you, Vic.
Have fun out there. If you're not used to being on camera, practice, practice, practice. You might be a little stiff the first time. Work with people that you enjoy working with, that you have fun with, and just practice. You're going to get better and better and better. You're not going to get better not doing it. So try it, do it, whether you have a professional doing it or you're just doing selfies. Do something and don't be afraid, and keep on doing it.
Love it. Alex?
When you're making a video, everyone thinks about that video as the way to sell that house. And it doesn't always sell that house, but we're building your brand. So when you're walking into the next listing presentation, you now have proof. This is what I'm doing to sell this property. I think in this market right now, everybody can feel this. It's harder to sell a house, and sellers are getting a little more picky about who they're hiring. So if you walk into a listing presentation and you go, yeah, we obviously do professional photos, but we also do, Zillow tours, and we have a video. And on my last listing, we got 30,000 additional organic views. You go up against the person that just says we do photos, who do you think is going to win that listing? Use that as a tool, not just to sell that current property, but to use it to sell yourself over and over.
Love it. Mohsin?
Yeah, 100%, exactly what both of them said. If you Google your name, any one of you, there's going to be 3 links that pop up. It's going to be maybe your realtor.com link, maybe your agency link or Coldwell Banker link, and then either your Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And people are vetting you before they even reach out to you, before you even get their lead. And so your Instagram, your social media is your digital resume. People work with who they like, who they know, who they feel like they can sell their home, and who market it, who care about what they do. So having that social proof about what you do is absolutely important. Like Vic said, it doesn't have to be professional. Pull out your cell phone. You can do a story time about how crappy your listings went that day, or whatever the case is. Or you can use us and have that behind you as well. A lot of people think they need the perfect condition to start, but starting is the perfect condition, and done is better than perfect. So just start, do it, and put the reps in, and then you'll just get better over time. And then just delete the first 5 posts or something. It doesn't
Love it. Let's give a giant round of applause to them. And then I need one quick favor. Everybody that has a camera or everyone that's shooting right now or has been shooting today, you're going to want to turn it on, because I'm going to count to 3, and I just want this room to go nuts for a second so that whoever's shooting B-roll or whoever's shooting stuff can get a quick video of the room looking like they just went wild for somebody. Y'all ready? I'm giving you one shot here. Any video people? Y'all are all good? All right, on the count of 3, I'm going to count to 3, and then I just want all you guys to throw your hands up and yell and stuff. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, but let's actually jump up and give a round of applause to all the people that spoke today. So jump to your feet. Let's give them all a round of applause. And then Kristen, Elliott, Zoga, and Diana, if y'all can jump up here real quick. We're going to take a quick photo. So everyone that spoke today, come on up to the stage.